Welcome back. Hello, everybody. What's up? I am Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Come on in, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. Come on, guys. Bring it up. Tomorrow's Friday. I got something special for you. We will definitely be doing some sort of giveaway. Don't know exactly what yet, but today we have a goal. Take a look. I think some of you guys might think it's funny. You might think the goal is funny, but I'm dead serious. But I want to welcome Ed Lenahan to the Crime Crew family. Welcome. All right. Good to see you. All the other folks that I haven't seen, LMB, Leanne, haven't seen you in a while. Tony, Lacey, MM, my girl, Midnight Lace, Sadie's mama, Anna, Wild Angel, Nettie. Y'all, we're going to answer all the questions today that we neglected to have 2 days ago, right? And it's not because we didn't have suppositions, but now we really do have the answers to many things, the shocking timeline, and not just the timeline of the arrest, but the timeline of the actual murder, when it happened, how it went down, what Nick did when, and into Nick's troubled mind. I've got some really good, solid information for y'all today. How the lawyer's going to be paid for, what the possible motive may be, how the lawyer's even being paid in the first place. Again, guys, come on in. We've got a lot of answers. Rob Reiner, family murders, shocking timeline, and Nick's troubled mind. All right, we're going to answer questions. How long were the bodies there and what happened to them? All right, so it's always a trigger warning. We've got new footage that came out. We've got extra footage that has come out due to what happened in these events. So come on in, guys. Relax, get comfortable. We're right on time for everybody that rolled in. All right, and as you know, we want justice for Rob and Michele Reiner. And guys, at this point, we also need justice for the family and the siblings, because I want to tell you, those siblings don't want their brother. They don't want to lose their mom, dad, and brother. And it's a possibility that a death penalty is on the table at this point. California hasn't executed many people very often, but you still can sit on death row for the crime that was alleged against Nick. So what they're doing is that they can't access the funds. And I'm going to tell you more just as you roll in. They cannot access the funds that are frozen due to the, unaliving of the parents, but they had a small fortune from the grandpa and a trust fund. And believe it or not, the family members are putting their money together to pay for the lawyer, Alan Jackson. And mind you, he's $2,000 an hour, but he will probably get Nick a nice life stay in a mental hospital rather than death row, or even in a regular prison system that I don't think Nick's going to be able to handle. So it's crazy that they put their money together to get him this lawyer. And now, mind you, Alan Jackson has been a defense attorney for the highest of high public or paid figures. Now, Karen Reed, he won, and I heard that was over $1 million that she had to come out of the pocket with. Okay, so Alan Jackson's $2,000 an hour. It's not pro bono, Daisy Duke. It's not pro bono. I'm not sure where you're getting that from, but today we're going to talk about that. And sources are saying, again, law enforcement has not come out and said this, but Alan Jackson is not pro bono. It's been stated by close sources to the family that the children, Nick's brother and sister, Romy, and I don't know the other name is the other child right now, are putting their trust fund money together as a whole to pay for Alan Jackson. All right, I heard that yesterday, and I assure you, I don't think Alan Jackson's going to pay for any of that. Karen Reed, you said trial pro bono, well, it still came out of somewhere. I remember Karen Reed talking about $1 million being spent. So possibly, if that's true, then the money came from somewhere, I assure you. And I believe what happened with the pro bono with Karen Reed, just because I've been paying attention to this stuff, his pro bono and sometimes other people's pro bono terms are that they'll do it for free, but they get all residual income to anything that you might make or do in your name. All right. So you can't profit off of a book and he can't charge you, but boy, the hell is he not going to charge you for the footage, for the stories, for the documentaries, for the books. Nothing's free, my friends. Nothing. Wolfpack, thank you for being here. Welcome. Yo, Mab, what's up? I need your attention, my friend. I need to make you t-shirts for your wife and yourself, and I need your t-shirt sizes. Can you email me back, my friend? I really want to get those out because Christmas is next week and they won't come in time. Rachel, good to see you. He looks evil AF, and we're gonna dig into that today with you should see it. If you haven't seen this, there is there's new footage that came out of Nick trying to be funny, but instead he's talking about doing cocaine and killing an animal. It's the most wild thing ever. So we're going to get into that. He charges significant fees, likely in the hundreds of thousands to over $1 million. Well, he charges $2,000 an hour base price. So depending on how long a trial can go, it can go for years, which we know now. All right. So I'm just giving you 1,000-foot overview right now of the case. So we're not sitting here not looking at this timeline for the murders. And then we'll dig into more of the details. All right. More of the details of it. So come on in, hit that like button, get yourself a membership. We got the goal up there. All right. You guys have been telling me, Jay, when are you going to dye your hair back? If we hit that goal today, I'll go do it right after this. All right. Thank you, Mab, for getting back to me. Mama Sage, thank you so much for the $1.99 super sticker. That's the first one of the night. Choo choo. Okay, listen, 1,000-foot view, Saturday, December 13, 2025. Nick attends a holiday party and gets into an argument with his father, possibly his father and his mother, and they did take him there. He didn't just crash the party. They thought it would be a good idea to get him out of the house because he was acting creepy and strange. But instead, he went to the party and acted creepy and strange, got in a fight with his father, and then whatever happened in between, we will talk about. Sunday, December 14th, suspects, Rob, I don't know why it says suspects, Rob and Michele are fatally stabbed in their bedroom. Which one first? What's what? Who, what, where? We're going to talk about that, right? They did get their necks both slit, and I am going to change my mind from what I said a day ago that the weakest link was probably murdered first. I now 110% believe by the sources that he actually killed Rob first to get the biggest threat out of the way, and then he went for his mom. All right. Now, authorities found them dead in their home on Sunday around 3:30. We'll get into the times. Later that night, I didn't even realize that after the murders, that is when Nick actually went and rented that motel. We're going to see the footage of all the hotel. Sorry. He's located and arrested in the exposition parking. Surveillance footage shows Nick buying a drink at the gas station. We're going to show that. We're going to do the timeline of the arrest, of the murder. We're going to talk about that and get all the inside info. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Huge prayers to that family and to everybody that's associated and has been affected. Billy Crystal did, in fact, walk in there and he saw them dead. That's how close of a friend he was. And Romy asked him to do it. So we're going to get into all that. There's so many things that are speculation in this case. All you got to do is focus at a little bit, just focus a tiny, tiny bit at what the people that surrounded this case are saying. And voila, there's your answers. Let's start with this one, the most basic of basic. Let's go.
What happened in the moments leading up to Nick Reiner's arrest? This video shared with NBC4 shows officers surrounding him as he puts his hands up. NBC4's Brittany Hope is live at the Reiner home in Brentwood. And Brittany, can you break down the timeline of this for us?
Yeah, good morning. So Rob and Michele were found here at their home on Sunday afternoon, dead in their room, and that was at about 3:40. So hours later, this new surveillance footage shows us their son, Nick. He's near the USC campus, and he seems...
And I'm going to play that full footage, but I just wanted you to see how they're breaking it down and where the timelines are coming from. Jamie Casey says, choo choo. Thank you so much for the $1.99, which in fact, LMB 1994 hopped on that train. Choo choo. Thank you so very much. I really do appreciate it. All right, Mom, I'm glad you're here. Hit that like button, she says. All right, look at him. This is why when we first started, I said, that's him. Not that guy. The guy you saw in 2016 is not the same person anymore. Now, he's the same person technically, but boy, has his mental health declined.
Really calm in the moments before he was arrested in his parents' murder. So let's show you that video. In this first clip, it shows him walking across the Arco gas station Sunday night. He's wearing a green and black jacket with a white stripe, jeans, a hat, and he's carrying that red backpack. He goes inside the AM/PM store and walks through the aisles. The store owner tells us he bought a Gatorade and spent about 2 minutes inside. He then walks down Exposition Boulevard, crossing Vermont Avenue, turns left, and crosses the metro tracks, ending up on the corner across the street, right in front of a USC housing building. So you'll see one police car drive by. Seconds later, that car turns around and a bunch of other law enforcement cars swarm around Nick Reiner. He raises his hands, surrenders, and is arrested. LAPD said that this all happened at 9:15 on Sunday night. The next morning on Monday is when he was booked into jail, and that's where he's been ever since, being held without bail.
All right, that gives you a good idea of the arrest. We hadn't seen that before. There was absolutely going to be blood on the clothes. We're going to talk about that. Sadie's mama, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. You just can't see it just yet, but we're going to watch more footage and talk a lot more. So let me do this. We're going to get into the money portion. I want you guys to see what the possible motive was. We know he was a whiny baby boy brat with mental health issues and drug problems, being in a rehab 18 times. All right, listen, Nick, we're going to say, okay, Rob Reiner, the Reiner family bombshell insiders reveal, and this just came out this morning, guys. I had to sign up for the Daily Mail. They charge you for it, but I'm all in if I can get you guys the good information. And trust me, I've been doing my research for days. I'm obsessed with this case. In my head, I can't stop just gathering the info because it's just so shocking. So, okay, the Reiner family bombshell insiders reveal who is paying for Nick's celebrity lawyer, their secret motive, and who will really inherit the $200 million fortune. And it has been verified that the trust fund is what is paying for this, for Alan Jackson, with the children. His brother and sister are helping him to pay for a lawyer to defend him against killing both of his parents, which is so odd to me, by the way. All right, listen, in his immaculately tailored suit and English spread collar shirt, pocket square in his breast pocket, lawyer Alan Jackson stood on the steps of Los Angeles Superior Court with a furrowed brow, holding forth the assembled media. I will watch just a second of that later. Only minutes earlier, his client, 32-year-old Nick Reiner, had made his first appearance before the judge. By the way, we didn't see him on camera. He said 3 words, something like yes, sir, or something like that. All right. He said 3 words before the judge charged him with the murder of Hollywood celebrity parents Rob Reiner, 78, and wife Michele, 68. Now, Jackson once prosecuted music producer Phil Spector for murdering before going into a private practice and taking on recent clients such as Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey. He is one of America's highest paid criminal defense attorneys, easily raking in more than $2,000 an hour. All right, a source told Daily Mail. Now, with Nick Reiner's case guaranteed to take at least 3 months, even if he enters into a plea of an insanity, Jackson is in line for a significant payday. But asked how he came to represent Nick and who would pay the fees, he says, I can't comment. Now, a Reiner family insider has told Daily Mail that the cash is indeed coming from Rob and Michele's estate, which is absolutely wild. The source, a lifelong family friend who's close to Rob's, celebrated Hollywood actor, director, screenwriter, father Carl, said that the grieving relatives have hired Jackson and some of Reiner's estimated $200 million fortune is being used to save Nick from prison. Does that surprise you? That surprises the shit out of me, because I'll tell you right now, and Mom, I know you're here, I know you're listening. If my brother did that to my mom, I wouldn't give him a motherfucking penny. And excuse my language, I do get heated. I would not pay for a damn thing, Mom. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't. These kids are just upset. They don't want their brother to die in prison and have another tragedy, and they want to keep him out of prison, and they want him in a mental hospital. Mary Beth, thank you for becoming a member again. I wouldn't do that. On God and my mom, I wouldn't do that. All right. But I can understand when loss and grief comes about and you have a ton of money that doesn't mean as much to you as it would to us, then hey, why not? What in the heck is $2, $3, $4 million when you have 200 million plus your grandpa's estate? All right. But like I said, that's just my opinion. He is absolutely going to some sort of prison. He's just trying to make it so he's not getting the death penalty, because the death penalty is on the line, I assure you. All right. Wolfpack, Lifestyles of Rich and Famous, Hollywood. Absolutely. Princess, how you doing? Hi, good to see you. Hit that like button. All right, listen. Wednesday, Nick appeared in court in a unaliving vest, right? His wrist shackled to illustrate his mental fragility. The hearing had been delayed by a day, with Jackson saying Nick was unable to attend due to medical reasons. What I speculate as I'm reading this is that Alan Jackson needs more time to go through the documents, to go through his mental health, files, to go through all the things that he needs to go through, the crime scene. He doesn't even know how they're pleading yet. He doesn't know what the plea is, and that's, in my opinion, why he pushed it off to January 7th, to wrap his mind around and to get other people involved to help in the case. All right. And I wish that was the case too, but his brother and sister and family members are putting the money together for him. All right. This guy's not doing it out of the kindness of his heart. When speaking to reporters, he declined to comment on how he was hired. We now know. Nick was in court Wednesday. This is pretty much all you got to see of him, guys. He was in that turtle suit in his first appearance since the death of his parents. He's been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. And may Rob and Michele Reiner rest in peace. May they not turn over in their grave when they realize they're paying for their son that murdered them. Right? Lawyer. All right, Rob and Michele were found dead in their home on Sunday with stab wounds. Their cause of death was a result of multiple sharp force injuries, according to the report. We're going to talk about that. A medical examiner said we're going to talk about how their bodies actually were, did rigor mortis set in? That's a big topic of today, is how long their bodies were there and what their bodies were like when they found them. And we're also going to be talking about Nick's troubled mind. Pictures of Nick will be on the cover of every tabloid from now on till the end of time, probably. AC Frere, good to see you. If he had so many mental health, then why was he allowed to be free on the streets? We agree, because when you're rich and you're famous and you have mass amounts of money, well, you kind of do what you want. Yeah, very odd that the family's helping him, but they certainly are, Terry. Certainly are. Oh, please, Mary, you're very welcome. All right, hit that like button, would you? All right, listen. Indeed, the tormented young man has had issues since childhood. The family friend said, with his struggle allegedly manifesting even before he discovered drugs. Nick's first stint in rehab was at age 15. He went on to have at least 17 more after the age of 15. He was also always deeply troubled, the source said. And we've heard that from friends, people that work for the family, and a lot of actors. All right. I just didn't have time to gather everyone and show you. Then he got into drugs and the problem magnified to horrific levels. He made his parents' lives hell. On the surface, they had everything but the tragedy of Nick was always lurking there in the background, and that worry never went away. Hence why they took him to the party that night. They did everything to help that boy. The reality is he has violent outbursts. Michele told me about it. The family has been scared of him. He could be violent and super aggressive. This is a family friend. Michele would say, I don't even know what else we can do. And remember, mind you, those are his biological parents. The couples are said to have been found in their beds. Guys, again, trigger warning. All right. I'm reading where they were found and what's happened in this case. So please, trigger warning. Okay. Listen, they were found in their beds with their throats slit and are believed to have been killed in the early hours of Sunday morning after appearing at the comedian Conan O'Brien's holiday party the night before, where Nick reportedly argued with other guests. One looming question is what now happens to the rest of Reiner's family millions. Okay. Now we talked about the California Slayer statue. Anyone who kills another person's automatically blocked from inheriting from their victim, but that doesn't stop relatives from chipping in. And the Reiner estate is prodigious. All right. I hope I said that right. Prodigious. Anyway. All right. The couple was married in 1989. They had 3 children, Jake, 34, Nick, 32, and Romy, 27. Rob also had an adopted daughter, Tracy, 61, from his first marriage to the actress Penny Marshall, which, guys, we talked about that yesterday. All right, we are going to watch this. This is the surveillance footage of Nick after the murder. I'm just going to play this real quick for y'all since we have it here. Why not? As long as a commercial doesn't come in.
Give us the facts. Let us decide for ourselves.
I don't like these commercials, guys. Come on, hit that like button, subscribe, get a membership, do all the things. All right, let's do it. I wish that I can get no. Thank you. Thank you, MM. We have other footage. I just want to show you some of the things that we didn't see because I want you to realize the gravity of the situation. And this was after he went and bought 4 cans of beer at 4:00 in the morning, mind you. He went and bought 4 beers. That's part of the story I haven't even got to yet. All right. Look at him. He looks nervous. He's pacing. Look at he's wearing, guys. Money cannot buy love. So he goes in the store, paces around, buys some beer, walks around. You kind of see him over there. And again, I'm going to play more video as I kind of read about the lawyer. There he is. There's the arrest. Hands up. All right. He knew his time was up. All right. There's the family. Let me stop this. I don't want to. Anyway, beautiful family. This was from 2014. That's not the same guy you see anymore. There's Romy and I believe we said Jake. All right. Those 2 were pretty close. So I want to tell you, when you guys are saying to me, why is the family chipping in? Why is the family paying? All right. Well, because they were close, even though their brother was a nasty drug addict that acted weird, they still loved him, and money doesn't buy anything. I told you guys that yesterday. Well, that's what they said. You actually can buy beer in places at 4 a.m. I'm going to beg to differ with you. You go to Vegas, you can buy beers till 4 a.m. You can drink all damn night long. So, Cindy, I'm not sure what state you're in, but you absolutely can buy beer at 4 in the morning, and I absolutely have. All right. I used to party with the best of them in my younger days, and we would hit the clubs until 2 a.m. right before, go buy the beer, and then you go back out. You absolutely can. But we'll get into that later. He also bought Gatorade, I'm sure. But I assure you, he bought beer. If he didn't buy it at 4 a.m., he was drinking it at 4 a.m. And that's what that's what we'll get to. All right. He might have bought it at the time and then bought it back. They did say he had non-alcoholic beer at the party. So we're going to get into that, though. Let's keep going. Let's not correct me just yet. Okay, guys? We're getting into it. I assure you. That's the story, and we'll get to the whole story. He was drinking beer. We're still getting to the timeline, all right? But they were close. The children don't want to see him be in prison the rest of his life. They don't want him on death row. That's actually Nick pictured with Romy. Romy's the one that found the bodies. He's had issues since childhood. All right, now listen. 2 years after tying the knot, he and Michele bought their forever home for $4.75 million from Rob's mentor. Now we're talking about quickly about the Rob and Michele Reiner. All right. So this is where he came from. Back then, almost $5 million, bought it, celebrated TV producer Norman Lear. If you know, you know. The 6-bedroom Brentwood mansion was originally built by Oscar-winning actress or actor Henry Fonda, and it's now thought to be worth more than $13 million. All right, the property that Nick and the family lived in includes expansive gardens, swimming pools, tennis courts, plus another home across the street, which is the home to daughter Romy, an aspiring actress. So now you guys know Romy lived right across the street. All right, and welcome to any crime crew neighbors. I know, I just said that. It was a hotel, Real Justice. I corrected myself. I said he got a motel, and then I was like, nobody rents a motel unless they're shooting up, you know what. That's what they said. So please, we're looking at this article that says that she lived across the street. All right, so let's Romy did not live in the guest house. It says she lived across the street, and I believe that Nick lived in the pool house. But I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you talk. You all right? You can talk while I read. How about that? If you're an inside source, email me and we'll straighten these damn Daily Mail people out. They're out of their mind writing this, right? Let's straighten them out. All right, listen, like it says. It literally says, plus another home across the street, which is a home to Romy, an aspiring actress. Okay, Bob Reiner. They also owned a $15 million Malibu beach house where the family had gathered for various celebrations along a picture-perfect coast. In recent years, the property had been available on Zillow. All right, Reiner inherited significant funds from his father, who created the Dick Van Dyke Show. You guys remember that? But it was only after Reiner made a string of hit movies, in particular Harry Met Sally, that he finally, according to the family insider, stopped being Carl's son and became his own man, Bob Reiner. On top of his director credits, Reiner also founded a production company, Castle Rock Entertainment, which I personally absolutely love, which is most notable, produced hit-long 90s sitcom Seinfeld, and likely earned him huge sums from the syndications and residuals over the years. Now, the family insider said that Rob worried about his own kids living in his shadow, and he sympathized because he knew it was like to grow up with the famous parent, because he did that. Now, look, there's the main house, and there's Romy's house. So when someone corrects me like that, and I'm showing you a picture, that's why I can't just read your comments, because look, I'm literally showing you Romy's house, and yet people are saying that that's not right. So what's wrong about that? Do you see it? Was that a troll, guys? Or okay, provide your I am. Look, there's my source, Real Justice. I don't know why you're going back and forth with me. I'm going to put this up there, and there's the source. Romy's house is right there. All right, there's the main house, and there's Romy's house. If that's a guest house, then so be it. But that's still Romy's house, which is separate and across the street from the main house. So although I appreciate your input, for you to tell me that's not a source, if you're a source, please email me. All right, now I'm done. I'm done getting into the logistics. That's what it says. Nick lived in either the guest house or the pool house. I don't remember if it was the guest or the pool. All right. I can post the link, but you guys can't see the link unless you're able to pay. So I can't post the link. All right. Yeah. I can't post the link because you guys can't see it because you have to pay for it. All right. So there it is. I'm going to go with my source and not some random person in chat that I don't even know and I've never seen. All right. To the end, Reiner made it clear that his children could not rest on their laurels. He intended for them to carve their own path. And listen, guys, he told many friends that much of his money would be given away to charity. I shit you not. He wasn't going to give that $200 million to his friends and family. They were going to give it away to charities, but they were going to leave them some. Speculation online puts the value of the entire estate at $200 million. All right. Rob has always been clear that a lot of his fortune was going to charity. A second family source told Daily Mail he didn't want his kids to feel like they didn't have to work and find their own way in the world. And obviously, I haven't seen his will, but I know that a lot of the inheritance is going to causes that Rob and Michele believed in. This isn't a secret. They've said it for years. And there's plenty of money for his kids. They all get something substantial as well. But Rob and Michele will do some good work in their legacy. I wish I could tell you what they're donating to. I don't know. All right. Again, let me post this up there. This is the Daily Mail. All right. There's the Daily Mail with the pictures. Does everyone see it? All right. Everyone sees it. And mods, you guys use your judgment, please. Use your judgment in, picking and choosing what's being said and how and whatever. Okay. So there it is. Tennis court, Romy's house. You see the logistics. One looming question: what happens to the Reiner family millions? Right, which is what we're talking about. There is the estate from below. There's the main house, Romy's house, and then you see it again here. All right, that's Romy's house, and that equals her house, and that equals theirs. So you guys can clearly see it's right across the street. All right, and yeah, I would never go onto someone's channel and tell them that they're wrong. So if you want to stay in chat, please don't spoil things for everyone else. We're trying to lay out the foundation with our sources. All right. Allegedly, state's paying for Nick's attorney. Sky Maiden, you must have came in late. I've already said that. All right. Welcome. Rob has a bro named Lucas. All right. Let's keep going. Yeah, that's rude. I would never do that to someone. Just come in here and be like telling you that your sources are wrong. All right. So there we go. There's the tennis court. Property includes tennis garden, which I showed you. That's the other son. That's Jake. And again, there's Daddy. She was so close to Dad, guys. I even showed you pictures of Romy and how close she was to Dad in the final moments. Again, Romy pictured with her father. Father lives across the street from her parents in Brentwood. Look at that beautiful house. That's their Malibu beach house, by the way. All right. Yeah. Reel it in, real. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Happy holidays. Now, I want to tell you guys just a little bit backstory to Malibu. If I haven't told you before, I've been to Malibu several times and to Axl Rose's house and to. Look at that. I'll tell you in a minute. Where is that music coming from? Hold on. There it is. All right, let's keep going because I really want to show you this. It's important. Daddy. All right, Malibu beach house, herding the dogs. I'm not going to get into that, but I want you to know what the activism and stuff is about. Now, listen, I've been to Malibu, to Axl Rose's house several times. I've been to Axl Rose's Halloween parties and all that. So and I live in California, so I got a real nice feel for what people in California, how they live, what they do. And I assure you, a lot of people buy up property that's right next to each other for the family, right? He had everything. So anyway, I've been to Axl's house, Axl Rose, and that's how these people live. They live like freaking kings, and money is no object. And Axl Rose is a dickhead, by the way. If any of you guys like his music, that's cool, but he's an asshole. All right. I've been there several times, and he almost ended his party because he didn't have ice. The ice didn't come in time, and he was literally about to tell every person to go home. All right. Which is really messed up when you're at a Halloween party and this guy's slamming around having a fit. All right. Zelda 86. Good to see you. All right. And I've never seen that person in here before. next time, guys, just time them out. Yeah, Axel the douchebag. Absolutely. You worked in Malibu, Ken Peterson. Awesome. Yes, 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 yes. All right, now listen up. Bob Reiner was a known activist and philanthropist, devoting much of his time to initiatives supporting underprivileged children and later campaigning for a host of LGBTQ issues. And you could see them there. All right. In 1998, he hired a political advisor, Chad Griffin, a young staffer in the Clinton White House, and threw his weight behind Proposition 10, a plan to put 50% tax on cigarettes and use the money to support education and health care for young children. Very admirable. Ballot initiative passed, leading to speculation Reiner may run for governor. I don't think that ever happened. Not that I am aware of. Instead, he turned his attention to activism, hosting fundraisers for Hillary Clinton and setting up the American Foundation for Equal Rights campaign for marriage equality. Amen to this man, because marriage equality, I'm all in for that. I am all in for it. Karen Bass, the former mayor of LA, said that Reiner always used gifts in service of others, while fellow activist Jane Fonda said Rob and Michele were wonderful, caring, smart, funny, generous people. They're amazing and wonderful parents who gave of themselves to make the world a better place. All right? How unspeakably sad that their final gift may be keeping their killer out of prison. All right. So that is their final gift to him, because they are, in fact, paying for it with the estate of the children. What's up, Brad? Little me. Good to see you, my friend. Yes, he has always been an asshole, but I didn't know that. How could you know that, right? How could you know that unless you meet him? All right, guys. So we got into a bit of the motive. We got into a bit of the timeline, but we're not even close to getting into the timeline just yet. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go super inside Hollywood with Zach Peter, and we're going to play a few minutes of that timeline, and then we'll go back to the visuals. I really wanted to make sense to you what the hell happened here, right? Because we're also good. After that, we're going to focus on the timeline, where the bodies were found and how long they were dead. Okay. And I'm going to do this real quick while I talk about Alan Jackson, and then we'll hop on to the Hollywood Insider, which there's quite a bit of Hollywood insiders, more than you know, are just chopping it up. All right, chopping it up, talking about it. All right. Welcome in. Good to see you. I'm confused. Oh, well, Mr. B, if you're confused if I'm a dude or a chick, you're probably in the wrong spot. There's a lot of trolls today, my friends. All right. Let's try to get rid of some of those guys. All right. I always try to pop them up there on the screen just to say what's up. But I guess we need to pay closer attention, mods. All right. Let's this internet has just, I don't know why. It's not even cold anymore. All right, guys. Yeah, the trolls do make me laugh too. Like, have I really not heard that before, guys? Am I a dude or I don't since you try being a creator where you're paying attention to everyone's questions, comments, super chats, super stickers, text messages, and then trolls. It's not fun. All right. There's no possible way for me to do that without seeing them. All right. So just if you guys know that you got to pay a little extra attention if instead of chit-chatting about what we're talking about, maybe. All right. Real quick, chilling video, full video shows him pacing around. This is a perfect video if it would play. I even downloaded it. Dang it. Now maybe it'll eventually play. Give me a second if it does it. Yeah, because you've been up here, Sinton. You have trouble just trying to read a document and follow chat. It's not easy. Why is this not playing? All right, as soon as I pop it down, I will watch. All right, well, I'm going to do something different then. Let's go into the inside. We're going to go into the inside information with the sources real quick at 8 minutes, and we're going to talk about the intricate timeline of actual stabbings. Just give me a few minutes with this.
Some sort of tense exchange with Bill Hader. Bill is from SNL. He had that one character. I don't have it on my computer. Sorry, I wasn't planning on referencing him initially, but I guess now that he's been brought up, Bill Hader. He
Oh, they don't let
he
you
was that
put
like
words.
goofy comedian. He would do like the newsroom. This one.
All right, he's telling
is,
us some
like, one of
inside
his most known
information
bits.
before
He's
we
this
get.
guy. So this is Bill Hader. He had some sort of tense exchange with Nick at the party.
Okay, so this is what we're talking to because we're going from the party into the murders, and the people at the party are talking. So we're going to listen to that. Then we're going to get back to the footage, and then we're going to talk about the bodies. But once we listen to this, you guys will really, really, really know the inside info on what the hell happened.
From there, it appears Nick then got into, and so I believe he was,
It's all
from
good.
what we've
No
heard so far,
worries.
based off of the reports that have come out, he was asking who Bill was and if he's famous. So it was just kind of like an awkward exchange. And that's when I believe, from what's been reported, Bill said this is a private
Thank you.
conversation and like didn't seem to be
Appreciate you.
interested in engaging with him. We also are hearing reports that Nick wasn't in a great place. He was extremely stressed. His behavior was a bit erratic. And
Thank you,
his
Cindy.
behavior had been grown concerning for quite some time, for at least quite a few weeks. Last we had heard about his state of mind and his sobriety journey was in September, when Rob gave an interview saying that Nick was doing well. And it appears after that, something happened, something triggered some sort of.
And this is just a few minutes of him literally telling what the hell happened from the perspective. And yes, he sounds like he needed a freaking life coach 24/7. And Cindy, you're all good. I did not think that you were at all. And it was non-alcoholic is what Sherry says, which we're going to get to, right? Because I thought they were talking about non-alcoholic at the actual party. However, if you're a Hollywood star, there is no time that you can't buy alcohol or get drugs. Just saying. Like, I've been in that Hollywood scene. I live down south. I've been around people. No is not what anybody would tell you when you have money. All right. There's not a no. And when you know somebody, it's easy. All right. But alcohol, yeah, non-alcoholic beer still has like a very small point something of alcohol. Very small.
I don't know, something triggered some sort of downfall, if that's what we want to say. It's uncertain if he was on a spiral. But I guess Rob and Michele didn't want to leave him alone. Nick was living with them and he was staying in the guest house. They brought him out just, I guess, to get him out so that he wasn't staying at home. I guess they were concerned about his mental state. So even though he was reluctant, they decided it was better to bring him out to the party. Seemed like he was awkward and he wasn't really making many friends at this party. From there was some sort of heated exchange between Bill, Michele, and Nick. And that's when Nick, I guess, kind of lost it. They raised voices. At some point, the parents exit. Rob and Michele exit the party. Presumably, Nick also exits the party. I would not think that if he were uncomfortable and awkward that he would stay at the party if he didn't want to attend the party to begin with. And it was a reluctant decision that was kind of forced upon by the parents. And I would imagine they all left at the party at the same time, just not together, maybe.
And again, these are the people from Hollywood that are talking to the inside people that like TMZ and I forgot the other Hollywood Perez Hilton, those people, those are the people that are finding out what happened. And he didn't want to go, but they thought he was having some kind of mental break and they just wanted to keep an eye on him. Right. And that's why all these people know this, because they witnessed it and saw it. And Billy Crystal just walked right in. Him and his wife came over because the kids were panicked.
And then at some point, it appears Nick checked into the Santa Monica hotel. That was about 4 a.m. from what we have in the timeline. So there's a chunk of time from when they left Conan O'Brien's party to when he went to this hotel room, checked in about 4 a.m. I know some people are thinking that he possibly checked into the hotel virtually and used like a digital key, because that's becoming really popular with different hotels where you can book it online. And then from there, you don't have to like deal with any front desk staff. So it would make sense that he could have possibly committed the murders and then checked into the hotel room. I don't believe that's the case with that specific hotel. What was the Pierfront Hotel in Santa Monica, and Pierview, I think is what it was called.
I can look that up.
It was right along the pier. And from there, so it looks like maybe he went off, maybe he went on a bender, uncertain of what the timeline was after they left the party, but he did not go and stay in the guest room, which is where he was living with his parents. He got himself a hotel. Or maybe it's possible that they all went home together, continued to get into some sort of argument and exchange, and that's when he may have gotten kicked out of the house, or he willingly decided he didn't want to be there anymore. He was going to leave. So there's that. He checks into the hotel room about 4 a.m. early Sunday morning. And then I believe, saw footage of him Saturday night around 10 p.m. And that was presumably before the murders were committed.
And that's why we're narrowing down this timeline. Yeah, I saw the pier side. Thank you. I'm looking it up behind the scenes, guys, and I'm like, it's a 4-star hotel. I'm surprised it's not 5-star. This mother trucker, he used his credit card to check in at 4 a.m. on Sunday for one night. Right. And we're going to talk about how witnesses say he appeared to be completely tweaked out. And then they go on to saying the reason that they're looking at him in a premeditated manner is because he put the shades up on the windows, and he had pre-planned a lot of different things. Now, his name is on there. His name is Zach Peter, and he's an insider for Hollywood. All right.
Right. Because it's uncertain whether or not Rob and Michele, the exact time of death, but we do know by the time that they were found, there was rigor mortis that had begun. So the bodies started to stiffen. So the bodies have been there for quite a few hours. I think it's about 2 hours before rigor mortis begins. And so we did see there was footage of him. I believe it was like at a gas station. He was buying a beverage.
Yep.
And
we're going to watch that next. But we're going to talk about the conditions of the body and the time that he took their lives. We're making a huge supposition based on what people are telling other people. Right.
Caught him on camera. So it's possible.
And camera and the cameras.
He was meeting with somebody. This is purely speculative, right? We're trying to put the pieces together with what we have so far. So party happens. He may or may not have gone back home, appears to have left the house. We see him on camera. He's buying a drink. There doesn't appear to be any blood on his clothes at that point. Doesn't appear to have come from a crime scene.
Indy.
So I'm thinking he was out all night, goes to the Santa Monica Hotel, checks in there, then at some point maybe decides he's going to go back home and commit this, because we do know that the parents were found in bed.
Oh, really?
That was what we discovered yesterday, is that they were found in bed. Let's see, there's a new report.
And this is why I wanted to talk, because they were found in the bed. We talked about that earlier. We got a couple more minutes of this, and we're going to talk about the bodies and all that stuff. So trigger warning.
Okay, so according to ABC News this morning, they're claiming that he checked into the hotel after he killed his parents, which is interesting.
Right. And I didn't know if he did or not, if he had checked in and then went and did the thing and whatever, but he just calmly walked across wherever, went to the store, and boom. All right. But he did that after. I didn't know that. I thought this was all like pre-done, and then he went, nope.
Okay, so according to ABC News, following the deaths of the renowned Hollywood director Rob Reiner and his wife Michele, Eyewitness News is learning more details regarding their son Nick. Sources tell us that he checked into the Pierside Hotel in Santa Monica either late Saturday night or early Sunday morning after he allegedly killed his parents. Law enforcement members have repeatedly already searched the hotel room for any evidence. Now they did, according to the medical examiner's report, multiple sharp force injuries, determined stab wounds from sharp object. Reiner made his appearance on Wednesday.
They don't even tell you how much that is.
Okay. There are very, very complex, serious issues that are associated with this case. Those need to be thoroughly.
All right. So we're going to, I don't want to, he goes into a whole other thing. I have much more inside information than this, and I want to get to it. I don't know, I don't do the Hollywood insiders often, but in this case, trying to find out things is almost impossible when you're waiting for the news in a case like this. All right, because that doesn't happen. You say Nick didn't drive. I didn't look into if he drives. He was walking. This was him walking. So if he doesn't drive, why would he have to? He got driven around, right? All right, let's take a look at this. I'm not gonna play the music. I'm just gonna. Hold on. We're just going to kind of look at it as we go. So we're looking at it together as we go. That's him. That's him going in to get that. That's after, right? And we'll see we'll see the cameras. We'll see the words on the screen. The trolls are grown adults, and look how they act. Go get a life, losers, right? All right. So you could see him pacing, guys. You could see, again, we don't see it we don't see it in our eyes, like right there, like, oh, look at the blood. But there, he just took the life of his family members, or his parents, I should say. This doesn't say much. He's pacing moments before. This is right before his arrest. This is after. Look at his face. He's already killed his parents. He's got a Gatorade in his hand. All right, Jay. Well, I know he's walking with a slight limp, but I can't tell if that's a limp or if he's just moving side to side because he's nervous. All right. So he goes, takes his parents' life, he kills his parents, and then he goes and gets a Gatorade. So that's going to narrow the timeline down for you guys because yeah, he is showered up, but I don't see timestamps on this. So he must have already went to the hotel, checked in, and then went back out. This was moments before his arrest. All right. Age of Nefarious. Love you, Jay and Mods. Good to see you all. Hit that like button. Come on in. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. All right. Let's keep going. And you're welcome to look that kind of stuff up. We don't know exactly how far it was. We know it was in Santa Monica, Pierside. And the parents, we still see him nervously swaying. Whatever he has in his backpack, we don't know for sure if they found the weapon. All right. Anyway, I just wanted to show you the last videos of him pacing around. And now we're going to talk about the bodies. And then I got to show you this video of him doing, Nick Reiner does cocaine. And then he talks about killing a dog. This video surfaced and I was like, I got to show them. All right. All right. And I don't know if somebody timed out that Canadian person, but make sure that they don't come back because I'm sure they were just trolling. All right. Where the bodies were found. And guys, Brian Etten, we got to give it to him.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. I really
he is looking rough. He's been on the scene for quite some time. All right. Take a look at him. He's talking to the neighbors, to the friends, and now we're going to talk about the bodies and you're going to see Alan Jackson.
Going to work out, but it turns out there was not a shot of Nick Reiner. They didn't allow us to shoot Nick Reiner. He was in a full suicide prevention vest, and he just stood there and listened. And the vest was interesting. I mean, it basically went from up near his neck all the way down almost to his knees, and it didn't appear
I've never seen Brian Etten look that rough. He's got the scruffy beard, and he's just been out there and out there and out there. Okay, you say it's 4 to 5 miles from the pier side. Yeah, I'm trying to put these up. I can't Google that right now, but I'm sure it's an easy Google. So thank you, the Sherry Kelly. All right.
Really had any clothes on underneath the vest. So he was in the suicide prevention vest. The hearing was only a few minutes long, very short. Alan Jackson asked for a continuance, said that it was too early to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. 7th. And then the judge set the next hearing for January 7th. This is what Reiner's attorney, Alan Jackson, said right after court when he came outside the courthouse.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I just have a couple of quick words. First of
all, Wyatt, what's up?
Importantly,
all right, and this is just like at the top of the hour, what happened yesterday, and then we're rolling into what the bodies look like, how long they were there, what we think happened, etc. All right, under your scars, mailing you some cold snow. Thanks for the coverage and your hard work. Ho, 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 everyone. And choo, choo. If y'all want to get to the goal today, we got a goal, all right? And I think you're going to like it.
This is a devastating tragedy that has befallen the Reiner family. We all recognize that.
Michele.
Our hearts go out to the entire Reiner family. There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case. These need to be thoroughly, but very carefully dealt with and examined and looked at and analyzed. We ask that during this process, you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed to move forward, not with a rush to judgment, not with jumping to conclusions.
And guys, right here, what he's doing is he's setting up a media campaign, in my opinion, for Nick. This is a media campaign. He wasn't ready. He knew that if he walked in and said, hey, I'm Alan Jackson, I'm representing, he knew people were going to be like, oh shit, we're in trouble now. And that's what he's doing. He's doing what he did for Karen Reed, and he's creating a media campaign for Nick and the family, because remember, the family is helping to pay for this lawyer. When I say the family, we know for sure that the 3 kids, including Nick, whatever money that he had, they put it together to pay for this guy.
But with restraint and with dignity and with the respect that this system and this process deserves and that the family deserves. So with that, we are set for January 7th for an arraignment. That's the next court date. And that's all I have to say at this point. There may be more at some other point, but today we're going to rest on where we stand procedurally, which is this was a continuance of arraignment Nothing happened today substantively. We'll be back for an arraignment in the same department.
Now I'm gonna speculate real hard here. I am to bear, and I'm gonna say with the evidence that's been found thus far and his mental health and the actual blood, they found a lot of blood in the shower when they sprayed the luminol in the hotel. If it wasn't Nick Reiner that did it, then someone did a damn good job of framing him. That's what I will say. Lady for Justice, member for 12 months. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Alan Jackson is a country singer, and he's also a defense lawyer. And I do listen to country, my friends. I know my country.
On the 7th of January, we'll see you then.
So just a reminder, Alan Jackson is a high-profile attorney who recently represented.
Now, I'm gonna speculate here, and you're right on with what you're saying. Don't sass back. He's creating a media campaign, and I believe his defense is going to be that Rob was tough. He gave Nick tough love, and it was his fault that happened because he was mentally unstable. He was in and out doing. They're gonna point the finger at the parents. I already know what they're gonna do in this situation. They're gonna blame the victims. Absolutely, that's what I believe they're gonna do, and it is tricky. But if anyone can pull it off, it's that lawyer.
Reed in Massachusetts. He's known to be a very, very good attorney. Everybody in LA knows him, and really all over the country now because of Karen Reed.
No, it's not the country singer Alan Jackson, guys.
Harvey Weinstein. I mean, he's represented a lot of well-known celebrity
There's
clients.
two of them.
He's also known to do his own investigation into cases, which is perhaps why we saw him outside the Reiner home yesterday. I remember we were out there. We saw him come by 2 different times.
Thank
he
you.
went inside, and we don't know exactly why. But again, I'm told that he's known to sort of do his own detective work when he starts working on some of these criminal cases. Back to court, though. Again, very quick hearing. I think the main thing was that Nick Reiner was there. We saw him in a suicide vest, but again, we weren't able to show it on video. The whole suicide vest though thing, it could explain why he was not at his scheduled hearing yesterday. Remember, they had to push it back a day.
That's a turtle suit.
Coming
Stop
out
saying that.
about that, and there's also some new details coming out about what actually led up to the murders.
Yep.
According to the LA Times, Nick Reiner was living in a guest house on his parents' property. And his family had become.
And see, he was living in the guest house and she was living across the street. So when you get people in here that are so sure that these sources are incorrect, well, think again. All right. Rehab at 15 does not equal engaged parenting. All right. And rightfully so. I mean, we can say that the parents did the right thing or the wrong things, but ultimately they lost their life and he's still living. All right. And so he's 32 years old. He was already a grown ass adult and the signs were there regardless.
Recently concerned about his mental health in the last few weeks. But there's reporting now that nothing indicated Reiner would be capable of this kind of violence. That is what family friends are saying. It's not like his parents were worried that this was going to somehow escalate to this level of violence.
Menendez brothers.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting that at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party on Saturday night, Nick went up to comedian Bill Hader and asked a series of strange questions like, what's your name? What's your last name? Are you famous? It was apparently just awkward and strange. And Nick had also been asking other high-profile people at the same party similar questions. It remains unclear up until now when the Reiners were murdered.
All right, so now so stop for a second. We're going to stop right here. Now we're going to get into when, how, state of the body, etc. Wolfpack, you're absolutely right. And I never, ever, ever am going to victim blame ever. Even in the Menendez brothers case, I don't know exactly what happened, but I would never come at that angle of victim blaming unless there was an actual, with the Menendez brothers, their parents were chilling. They were chilling and they came and just blew them away. So regardless of if they did what they say they did, they didn't do it at the time. They were defending themselves. And that's what the law says. All right, Bree, to dye your hair, Jay. Thank you. I know you guys everybody's like, when are you going to dye your hair back? I don't like it. Even my wife doesn't like it. So yeah, baby guilty doesn't like it. Nobody likes it, all right?
New York Times is reporting on Sunday afternoon a massage therapist showed up at the house for an appointment with Rob and Michele Reiner, and when no one answered at the gate, the Times is reporting that the therapist called the Reiner's daughter, Romy. She lives across the street, I was told, when I was out there, and she quickly showed up to the house, had to run across the street and had a roommate with her. And that's when she went inside and found her father's body and found just the awful scene. The New York Times reports that Romy ran outside of the house. Her roommate then was waiting out there and called 911. And Romy did not see her mother's body in the house, but then later learned from paramedics outside that her mom was dead too. So just terrible.
Okay, so I hope you guys are hearing all this. I know you guys are chatty Cathys today, and I love it. Yes, there's absolutely the death penalty on the table, but with that defense attorney, and the reason they did defense attorney is they don't want their brother getting the death penalty. California absolutely has a death penalty. And if let's say he had a public defender, I'm telling you right now, for slaughtering his parents in the way that he did, guys, they would put the death penalty on the table. There's no way they could even touch the death penalty with this high profile case, high profile lawyer, and the amount of money that they are throwing at this. No way, no how. Muffin, welcome.
To think about. Nick Reiner was arrested about 15 miles away.
15
still unclear
miles.
Exactly 15 minutes away.
Okay, 15 minutes away. You guys were asking earlier about the where the hotel was in proximity to the house. All right, 15 minutes, miles away. 15 minutes equals miles.
So still unclear exactly how police knew where he was. These are photos that the LAPD released taken when they took Nick into custody. And there's also this new surveillance video that was taken before Nick was arrested that shows him inside a gas station. I'm going to discuss this with my guest in a minute.
Yeah, they have the death
what
penalty.
His demeanor could indicate there, but you can see him going into the store and then you see him leaving the store. And again, we don't know the timeline of exactly when the Reiners were killed, and
we don't know, but we're going to take a guess based on where he went, where he was after, how long he was there. All right, and there's absolutely the death penalty. As a matter of fact, in one of the clips that I haven't played for you, it says the death penalty is on the table. It won't be with that attorney, though. I'm telling you right freaking now. That's gone. He's never gonna let that happen.
When their son allegedly went to the hotel, was it right after the murders? We don't know. We don't know exactly when he checked into the hotel in Santa Monica. We are told he used his own credit card and he used his own name for a one-night stay.
Then they misspoke, I am too bad, because they absolutely said that the death penalty was on the table. So if they misspoke about it, that's odd. Then we got to correct them. I know that I looked it up, that it's still legal and it could still be put into effect. So, we're going back and forth. I'll have to find those things out. But as far as I know,
it's now going to be up to the coroner to determine when the Reiners died and whether it was, late Saturday night, Sunday morning. My guest has a really, really interesting perspective on that coming up in a minute about how they determine that. Jake Reiner and Romy Reiner, Rob and Michele's kids, they released a statement that I want to read to you here. Really, really sad.
And yes, I was going to do that, but we're running out of time. So he's going to read the statements from the children, which are heartbreaking. Oh, right. And I am looking that up right now about the California. I don't even know why they would say that if it wasn't possible, but I'll take a look. They misspoke then.
You gotta imagine what the situation they're in right now, dealing with their brother and their parents being dead.
It does have the
words cannot even begin to describe the unimaginable pain we are experiencing every moment of the day. The horrific and devastating loss of our parents, Rob and Michele Reiner, is something that no one should ever experience. They weren't just our parents, they were our best friends. We are grateful for the outpouring of condolences, kindness, and support we've received, not only from family and friends, but people from all walks of life. We now ask for respect and privacy, for speculation to be tempered with compassion and humanity, and for our parents to be remembered for the incredible lives they lived and the love they gave. So again, everybody, I think everybody's heart just...
Yeah, definitely. And listen, I got to tell you guys that the legal status, all right? Listen, I'm going to tell you, the executive order closed the execution chamber at San Quentin State Prison and applies to all death row inmates, though it does not commute sentences or release anyone. The policy remains in effect as of December 2025, with death row housing around 587 to 598 inmates who face life without parole instead of execution. Legal status: California law still authorizes capital punishment for special circumstance murders, and LA County DA Nathan Hochman reinstated, seeking it in select cases in March 2025. All right. However, the moratorium prevents actual enforcement and legislative efforts to abolish it outright and continue to amid declining new death sentences. So there we are. All right. That's the official word.
This goes out to them, and you think about the strange situation they're in now. You know, their parents are dead, their brother accused of the murder. Still a lot of questions about who's paying for the, you know, high-powered, very expensive attorney. You know, the statement is really just obviously really heartbreaking. I'm joined now by Maureen O'Connell, former FBI agent and also co-host with Jim Clemente of the podcast.
All right, this is great. Now we're going to talk about the conditions of the body, how long they were there, what were they like, etc. All right, let's keep going.
Best case, worst case. It's good to see you again, Maureen. The medical examiner has come back and said that it was multiple sharp force injuries was the cause of death. What does that mean to you?
It means they were stabbed multiple times each, and that could also mean, you know, the throat was slashed and then they were stabbed multiple times. It could mean anything along those lines.
What we heard initially was that the throat was slashed, but I guess if they're saying multiple, could that mean, I guess the throat was slashed and then also other stab wounds, you think?
Right. It could be, you know, his rage was such that he cut their throats, or let's say, talk about his dad first, cut his father's throat, and then, you know, sort of stopping the threat of his dad fighting back with him, and then went back and stabbed him multiple times in a fit of rage.
There's been some
Now listen, the way that this was carried out was in a fit of rage, allegedly, the way the bodies were, where they were found, etc. And that way, that's going to help him in his defense of not being premeditated.
reports that they were stabbed in bed. And what would that mean? I mean, I guess would that mean premeditation, like you thought about it because the person was going to be asleep?
It's absolutely premeditation. And it's also attacking someone who is not in a position to defend themselves. And
it literally takes 5 seconds for them to be able to determine if it was premeditated. Like I said, in the Stephen Stearns case, even though I don't think it was pre-planned to take Maddie's life, to strangle or suffocate or any of that, you're thinking about it while you're doing it. It takes anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes to take somebody's life by strangulation. In those minutes that you have to think about stopping, if you don't, then it's premeditated. All right, Carol Pack, welcome to the Crime Crew, baby. Thank you.
I mean, is there a place that you feel more safe than snuggled in your bed, and then to be attacked like that? It's just beyond belief.
What do you think about they haven't released many details about the timeline, but where does your mind go with timeline here? I mean, do you think this happened right after the Conan O'Brien party? Like, how do you think this played out?
I would say it happened within hours of that Conan O'Brien party, within hours of them returning home. And he just couldn't take it that he was embarrassed again in front of people, and his father took the side of the people he was fighting with instead of taking his side, and he just got all laughed.
Now, guys, let me just give you a real quick spiel. This is for entertainment purposes only, and in this case, everything that we're saying, even the stuff I'm reading, is assumptive because we don't have the medical examiner report with the cause of death. We don't have any of that. It's us listening to the inside sources in Hollywood and making assumptions based on the way things were left. Even in the Madeline Soto case, we made lots of assumptions until the information came out. And then when it came out later, like, see, I told you he wasn't at that birthday party. See, I told you. And then we were wrong about some things. So that's how we're building this. If we wait until law enforcement comes out, we're going to be left in the dust in this case.
Up. And, you know, he could have gone into his into the guest house first before he came back. I don't know. I had this sense initially that it happened in the kitchen, but now knowing that they had been dead for some time, it's making me think more and more that it was late at night after the party. Because we heard also, remember, Brian, we heard that the daughter couldn't get in touch with them for a while, so she went over there to see.
Yeah, and the new reporting today is that she saw her dad
What's up, man?
and then ran out. And it was the paramedics who later told her about her mom, which is just so sad to think about.
Unbelievable. And I'm wondering if that lady in the brown that we saw yesterday walking up and down, I wonder, is that her roommate?
I was wondering if that was some kind of assistant.
Now, remember, he's been doing a lot of interviews with this lady. She's been like a source on the inside in LA. She talked to the neighbors. And Brian Enton's been outside many times reporting on the case. Hi, Brian Enton, Anhorn. What's up, Anhorn? How you doing? How's your health, my friend? Are you doing okay? Let us know. Thank you, Jay, for sharing all this with us. You're definitely one of my favorites. Well, thank you, Raised in the Boondocks. I'll take that. Especially when I hear other people coming in and saying some other things that I'm like, what?
And
I have
because she didn't really look that emotional. I don't know. She kind of seemed like she was on a mission to me to like go get stuff.
Me too.
So I kind of thought maybe that was like the lawyer's assistant or someone's assistant, but I have no idea. It was interesting to see that action outside the house, though.
Yeah.
In terms of an insanity defense, do you think that's what is being set up here?
Yes. And I think the first salvo was when they said he's on suicide watch.
She said that way too quick.
You know, why didn't he commit suicide before he committed a double homicide?
Because
I just think when you look at the videos of him and you hear a lot of the way he talks, yeah, there's mental health issues, but for him to, I know exactly where that gas station is that he walked to. For him to walk there, he doesn't look like he has a care in the world. And then he could have easily then walked all the way to that hotel. Then he gets to the hotel and he has the presence of mind to put those sheets up on the window.
All right. And again, in the hotel, when we do get the information, when the information comes out and the affidavits start coming and we're getting all the documents, y'all are going to hear about the mass amount of blood in that hotel. The way that they're talking about it, guys, it's not just a little bit like somebody else did it possibly. And you got to remember, he probably had it in his hair. So when they arrested him, doesn't matter if he's all shiny and clean and took a shower, there's going to be evidence in his hair. And there was two people, his father, which is a pretty big guy. All right. And yeah, poor housekeeper. Well, the crime scene, guys. You guys ever watch crime scene cleanups? It's disgusting and disturbing. And it's pretty dangerous.
Which all my contacts at the hotels are telling me that's what people do when they're just planning a bender, like a 3-day bender on drugs. Lots of cocaine. I don't know why you would put sheets on the window for cocaine, but okay. And then take a shower because he didn't want to be uncomfortable with dried blood on him. So he took a nice shower. He understood that. He understood he had to create distance between him and the crimes. And then he decided it was time to go score some dope, in my opinion. So he took the metro in Santa Monica over near USC, got off and, went into that convenience store probably after or maybe before he scored some dope and he was getting ready.
All right, y'all, gather around because Monet Exchange from...
Oh, no, we don't need to do that.
You heard me.
No, we don't. We heard you.
Considering he was on foot.
I was wondering how they would find him so quickly on foot like that, just on the side of the road. Do you think someone called it in?
Yeah, well, they figured, hey, every time we catch him, and I'm just guessing based on my personal experience working narcotics, they probably said, 3 out of the 10 times we arrested this guy, he was found right here in the same spot. So
and we're going to find out what he was on. And, people seem to forget that he was 32 years old. Now, when he did that movie with his father, he was so much younger. When we see the interviews in 2016, that's almost 10 years ago. He wasn't even a kid there. Lola, you are not green yet, but we're trying to get to our goal. So you want to help us out with the goal? If he showered, why was there so much blood at the hotel? Well, because he had to go into the hotel first and put his stuff down. And imagine going to, I can go reenact this by using fake blood and stabbing motions. And you're going to have it all over your clothes, all over your whatever. And then it was in the drain. And then it was in the shower. All right. Still fighting cancer. Brian knows me. Good from Savannah. Tell him hi. Aw. And prayers for you. Much love to you, my friend. And there he could have been. We haven't heard about that yet.
Put a team over there. The other time he was right over there by USC. And on the other occasion, he was getting off the metro. So they probably guessed he went, especially when they found out what hotel he was in. They knew he went to that hotel because he could take the metro because his family said he didn't drive, or I guess his family friends told me he didn't drive as a general rule. So
that makes sense then that he would take the metro.
And it's a great way to get out of Dodge.
Sometimes, guys, when you ask questions and I don't answer, it's because we're going to get to it. And if I misspeak, then all of a sudden the trolls come in and are like, Jay, you're spreading misinformation. Jay. Yes, he was an ungrateful, spoiled brat, in my opinion. Thank you. Send prayers, please.
Quickly.
Yeah. The reports of all the blood in the hotel room.
Okay, listen up.
I mean, it's gruesome to talk about, but I guess I'm just trying to understand, if the stabbing happened at their house, why would there be so much blood in the hotel?
Well, if he stabbed them without a winter jacket, without his jacket on, because we saw him wearing, those jacket things, whatever they were, he would have blood all over his clothing and it would still be wet to a certain extent. And if he was, let's say, who knows, maybe he already had a little bit of dope on him and he was laying on the bed, just getting high, enjoying a buzz and rolling around or whatever, or he took his clothes off, threw them on the bed to take a shower. Then he comes out, lays on the bed and he's wet, and who knows how thorough of a shower he took, or to have blood on the linens could also mean the towels. So he could have walked in, washed his hands, grabbed a hand towel, which are usually white.
Yeah, guys, I mean, just think about that. And I know you don't want to think about that. We never want to think about taking the life of one person, let alone two. But when you look at, we look at the forensics of this, and you look at how blood spatter is, and how when you cutting motions and defense wounds, it's going to be everywhere. He didn't even bother to have a backup plan, in my opinion, where he changed and took his clothes off. That was his plan. Let me go get a hotel. They won't notice. And yeah, you're right, Wolfpack. If he suffered mental health all his life, in and out of treatment, he knew not to act on those impulses, period. Yes, he absolutely did. But he also wasn't in the right state of mind. If he was having a mental health breakdown and he just snapped, he's not in the right state of mind to clean up. So when he gets there, he's just doing what he knows how to do, right? Whatever that might be, getting blood everywhere. And absolutely, they got that lawyer, in my opinion, to get him in a hospital the rest of his life.
And dried his hands off and arms, and then realized, oh, I still have blood on my arms. I just washed my hands. I got to take a shower. I got to, whatever it is. And then if he doesn't take a thorough shower and he gets out, he may not realize how much blood he has in his hair. Or he's got that thick black hair. He could have had way more blood in his hair than he thought. And maybe in washing his face, he just got his hair wet and didn't wash his hair because he was planning on going downtown anyways. And who wants to be out all night? He was homeless. He knows going out all night with a wet head of hair, you're going to freeze. He may not want to check in anyplace else because he's on the run. So he may have just gotten his hair wet in the shower just from taking a general shower, and then realized there was hair all over it, or blood all over. It could have just been blood on the pillowcase from that. It could have been blood on a hand towel from that, or he laid on the sheets to cop a.
Hey guys, there's got to be tons of cameras around a house like that with so many people working there. I saw Rob Reiner's assistant roll up to the crime scene, and he tried to get in. He wanted to see if the kids needed help, and he just stood out there. He was like, "I got to get in. I'm Rob Reiner's assistant," and they wouldn't let him in. All right. They wouldn't let him in. But I mean, there was a lot going on. I bet you there's a bunch of cameras. I bet you there's a lot of security in that place. And they're going to see it. They're going to have it. They're going to check his cell phone to see if he what he Googled, what he was looking for, how he was looking for, etc.
Buzz after he got out of the shower and he didn't do a good job. There's a lot of things. And then he took that top sheet, I believe it was a top sheet, and put it up over the windows.
Just to block people from seeing inside.
Block people from seeing inside, or they like the cocoon feeling. But they all have blackout curtains, so that's kind of weird,
Yeah.
Think of a hotel room that doesn't have blackout curtains. I can't think of one.
Do you think that he really thought he was going to get away with this, or was he just on a bender and not really thinking that clearly?
That movie was not good.
I don't know. I don't know him. I would say he realized he was in a world of hurt because he was that little bit of distance wasn't enough. He just probably felt like he had.
I mean, and you're right. There's somebody said there's a huge differences. And we know that there's huge differences between going on a bender for days and having a mental breakdown, a psychotic episode, whatever. But when you bring the two together from somebody that's been to rehab 18 times and already has anger, already has those black, dark eyes that he has, he already looks soulless. I'm going to show you right after this the video that he filmed when he was talking about killing a dog and cocaine. You're going to see into that monster and the way he is. All right. Let's keep going.
To go to ground and he would figure it out. But then he realized the only people that were really going to help him would be his parents, and that wasn't going to work anymore. And I did hear initially that he put his house up for to secure a bond, but the family rejected that. But I haven't seen that corroborated anywhere.
Have you heard anything from your sources about the state of the bodies, like how long they may have been dead?
I just heard that it was a while. It was longer than originally thought. That's all I heard. So I don't know, that's not very definitive.
Can they tell though, like if it's been, can they actually tell the difference between like 2, 4, 6, 8 hours?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. And LA's got the greatest Emmys and the detectives are good. See, the blood will coagulate at a certain rate based on the temperature. The blood will have a
okay, so this is what we're talking about now, how the blood was, what did rigor mortis set in, how bad was rigor mortis set in, where was the stab wounds, where was the blood, etc. Insane in court is not the same as mental illness. You're absolutely right, but they're going to cross those lines with Alan, trust me, and I do know that. I mean, I've seen people get off on guilty by insanity, and it's way different than any kind of insanity that you could imagine. Look at this. Look at what's her name? Taylor Schabusiness. If Taylor Schabusiness is evil and she's crazy, okay? And they didn't find her guilty by reason of insanity. They just found her guilty, right? Now, any one person here can tell me, you guys tell me that Taylor Schabusiness is not crazy. I got here late tonight, but heard that tomorrow there's going to be some kind of surprise. Is it a surprise birthday party for me? Coco, happy early birthday, my friend. Tomorrow's Friday, baby. All right, welcome.
Thick, like the top of it will dry first. Even if blood is mixed together, it will just coagulate very nicely and in a very uniform way based on the conditions within the house, and that's humidity, heat. The floors could be colder, so all that is taken into account, and also the temperature of the liver is a great determinant factor. Also, lividity. They'll be able to see the blood will settle within the body and turn purple, yellow, green, whatever those colors are, depending on how long it's been there. That's one of the ways you can determine if, in fact, the bodies were moved later. So if you have a body that has a bunch of lividity on the back, but the victim is on its stomach, that body was moved. All the blood settled and really settled into the body, and then it was flipped over onto its stomach, and at that point it was no longer pulsating through the system, so it's going to stay stuck in that situation.
And this is the kind of stuff, guys, I know it's a triggering subject, but if you're listening to it and you listen to the details of the blood and how it's coagulated and rigor mortis and the lividity, I mean, I don't know. It's fascinating to me to get to that level to where you can understand when it happened and down to the minute, how it happened, etc. All right. My 1 year of guilty of crime coming up. Can't believe it. What's up? Good to see you, my friend. All right.
In terms of DNA, is that not really going to be that helpful to prosecutors because he lived there?
No, it's going to be super duper helpful.
It will?
Absolutely.
But why? Because couldn't his defense just say, well, you live there. Of course his DNA is everywhere.
I'm talking about blood mixed in with the blood on scene.
It is.
When you attack someone with a knife, unless it has a hilt on it, and for those that don't know what a hilt is, I'm looking to see if I have a knife with a hilt, and I do not.
I love that she was just going to grab a knife from behind her with the hilt on it, right? Guys, this is my kind of woman right here, even though I gave her a messed up pause in the face, but it's just fascinating to hear about this. And yeah, your business is a real treat, but not the definition of insanity by a court. All right, Mary Beth, thank you so much for the Guilty of Crime membership, guys. We're trying to get to that goal. We're very close. All right, let's keep going.
But a hilt is that it would be like that metal piece like this on a knife, And this hilt stops your hand from sliding forward onto the blade when you're in a fight, when you're in a knife fight.
That way
A
doesn't slide off.
K-bar knife has a hilt on it. That's the one that was used in the Idaho killings. That one had a hilt on it, but he still cut his hand, because when you're in a knife fight, there is a very good chance that you are going to cut yourself. He was probably fighting with his father. His father was a big, strong man. His mother looked like she was in great shape. They both did yoga all the time. It probably wasn't as easy as some might think, unless they were sound asleep.
Exactly. And if that's the case, we're looking at a whole new level of him being a monster. Although he allegedly think that he allegedly did this, right? I mean, that's just a whole new level. And again, the Menendez brothers, whether or not they were, I'm sure they were, probably, when I heard the Menudo stuff, when I heard about the CSAM, the sexual assault, right? It still doesn't justify when your parents are sleeping that you go do that to them. All right.
But even still, if he was stabbing them afterwards multiple times, there's a very good chance that he cut himself. So now we have, even if we don't find the weapon, you'll have his blood and, let's say, his father's blood mixed together and coagulated together. It's not in a place where you could. So if there's let's say there's a puddle of blood and there.
Okay, so Nick didn't do anything to animals. I have a video where he talks about he acts like he's doing Coca-Cola, and he threatens to kill the dog in his video with his sister. And we're going to play that. You just rolled in right after this. We're going to show you that so you can see the kind of crazy that he is. You can see it in his eyes even before all this. And this was years ago. I don't know how much he drank. We're going to find out all of that.
And Alan Jackson is trying to say, oh, they came back and poured blood over it, just like they did in the OJ case. That isn't what happens, because the first blood will have that coating on top as it begins to coagulate, and the blood will almost be in a separate layer. So if you have Nick's blood mixed in with his mom's blood, and it's all in the same, it's all in the same puddle, let's say.
And we don't know for a fact if one was in the kitchen and one was in the bedroom. We're hearing different instances of that. So that's what we're getting to on that. And I wasn't saying that the parents of the Menendez, I was talking about if Nick's parents were asleep, then that's still a monster. They were sitting on the living room couch, but allegedly they were also dozing off watching a movie together. So either way, when someone's defenseless, that's not the way to go. That's not a defense. That's not a solid defense.
There's no way you can say that he was not there, and there's no way that you cannot say that he wasn't there and bleeding at the exact same time that those people died. And there's really only one reason that someone's going to be bleeding like that, when someone is being stabbed. And then the other reason it's going to be important is because there's a thing in forensics called voids. So if there's a big bloody battle, we're going to look at the shoe impressions or the foot impressions on the ground, because oftentimes the defense will say, oh, there was another person there. He just happened to be standing there and he was trying to defend his parents. Well, there's no footprints, no shoe impressions. And
now, I definitely don't argue with you on this, Vanessa. Jose and Kitty Menendez, I'm sure they did abuse their sons, and I believe it. But my whole point is not that they never got convicted for that. I'm sure that they did. I'm glad that at some point they may be released. That's not what we're referring to. I don't think anyone's disputing that the kids were abused. But what you don't do is wait until they're sleeping and then take their lives, or you're going to end up in prison for the rest of your life. All right.
Blood pattern completely contradicts what you say, because the blood pattern will show over and over and over, cast off blood all over the floor, and it will only show their 3 footprints. If, let's say, they were all in the kitchen fighting, you'd be able to determine that it was just those 3 people in the kitchen fighting with the knife. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I'm wondering if the defense could be, though, if they were in the bed, could they say, well, he came home, he found them stabbed in the bed, freaked out, and went on this drug bender because he's got all these issues, and went to the hotel and was just in a state of shock? I mean, you think that?
No, because I think they're going to find his blood too. And the other thing is, don't forget bloody fingerprints. Once he's in that battle, you could have Nick's fingerprints.
Thank you so much, Dale, for the $3 super sticker. I appreciate you. Yeah, you guys, you got to go back to the beginning because I'm showing the sources that we're referring to. So maybe go back and watch it when you're done.
With his father's blood on the countertop, or Nick's fingers with his mother's blood and his father's blood on a countertop. That puts all three of them in the exact same location at the exact moment of the attack. It's indisputable. That's what I'm hoping for.
When you've worked cases with...
Yeah, I don't think we're on the same page, Tanya, 100% on the same page. I absolutely believe that he showered at the motel, which wasn't a motel, a hotel, and he had clean clothes on when he was arrested. We're all on the same page here. All right. But we did hear that he checked in before, or yeah, he checked in before that. No, they said after. I'm sorry. That he checked in. That's their assumptions, that he checked in after. Go back to the beginning for those of you that didn't come in and only caught part of my context. I think we're going in circles here because I already said it, I read it, I showed you.
You know, I mean, this is going to be a strange family dynamic because he's got these siblings now, and he allegedly killed their parents, but I don't know if they're still somewhat supportive of their brother, or I don't know, you know.
Yeah, right now I'm going to stand on the fact that sources are saying that he acquired the hotel after. That's what they're saying. Don't ask me how. I don't know. I don't know what he was wearing. I don't know if he covered up, but that's what they said. And maybe they'll come back out and say, no, it was before. But right now I'm going to stick to what I said at the beginning of the episode.
Because I have no idea, but how do you think that's going to work? I mean, are they going to, based on what you know,
it's going to be messy.
Are they going to come around and want to pay for the lawyer? Or like, how does it play out, do you think?
Absolutely not. Why would they? You know, because they might say, you know, some people might say, well, Michele and Rob Reiner did everything they possibly could for their son. And I'm sure they would want their siblings to help him even now because he has mental illness. I don't know about that. And the reason I say that, Brian, is because my thought is this. If they could do that to their parents, they could do it to anyone, including their siblings or his nieces or nephews or anyone. And I don't think their parents would sacrifice one child for the other two. And I don't see any way those two kids are ever going to come back from this.
I don't either, but I think they're throwing themselves into this in order to help so that they don't feel like they lost everyone. Now, let me just go back to this. I'm going to go to another little clip of the timeline, and then we're going to watch the video where he acts like he's doing Coca-Cola and he says he's going to kill the dog. All right. So just that way it's not confusing. And you didn't already watch it. If you're here, people are in chat saying the things that they've heard that are not necessarily facts. And so, and even what we're saying is suppositions based on sources. And I don't want you guys confused based on what people are saying in chat. So let's just take a quick look at the timeline, and then I'm going to show you the video where he talks about or threatens to kill a dog. All right. Then there's outside of, let's get to it as long as I downloaded it.
Behind me, the Twin Towers Correctional Facility in downtown Los Angeles.
Come on. Don't do this to me. E.T. phone home.
That is where Nick Reiner is currently being held without bail.
Why is it doing that?
For suspicion of murdering his parents. He is also,
I don't know why it's doing that. That's not good.
Reportedly under suicide watch. Now, we learned today that he is being represented by famed defense attorney Alan Jackson. He has previously repped celebs like Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey, and most recently won an acquittal for accused Boston cop killer Karen Reed. Now, Nick was scheduled to appear in court this morning, but according to his attorney, he couldn't be transported yet because he hasn't been medically cleared.
Hopefully he'll be cleared tomorrow, and we can get him here.
So what does it mean that Nick wasn't medically cleared for transport? Well, usually after an evaluation, the staff determines that this person is not stable enough to be moved, and it's because of one of three reasons: physical injury, illness, or a mental health evaluation. We were not told which one applies in this case. We got an update from the district attorney this afternoon.
Our office will be filing charges against Nick Reiner. These charges will be 2 counts of first-degree murder. These charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty.
Here's a timeline of the alleged.
Did you literally hear that? He literally said life without parole or the death penalty. I know I didn't make that up. Man, sometimes when I'm doing these cases and the information's flowing and you get people in chat that come in here and know better, it's a wildest thing ever. Gotta just not read comments, I guess. Oh, man.
It's double murder. The Reiner family attended Conan O'Brien's holiday party and
all right, now pay attention. This is the part where they're getting to the timeline. We're starting at Conan O'Brien's party. Please, let's listen up. I don't want you guys confused. And if we find out later on that he actually got the hotel before, then we'll correct ourselves. But that's what the sources are saying. Let's see what this source says.
Source says, quote, he was acting weird and off while there. When the Reiners left and they were standing by the valet stand, Nick, Michele, and Rob were arguing and everyone saw. Then, early Sunday morning, a source tells ET, Nick checks in here to the Pierside Santa Monica Hotel, acting strangely and erratically. According to TMZ, hotel staff claim the room was found covered in blood with sheets covering the window.
So there you go. It sounds like he checked in at some point, did that, and then came back. All right, we're right. And you can see the timelines right on the screen there. And you go back and watch the beginning, and I even showed the timeline. All right. Again, it's all suppositions until law enforcement comes out and gives us detailed information.
A source tells ET the couple was found by their daughter, Romy. They were reportedly in bed with knife wounds. Just after 3:30 p.m., the fire department was dispatched. Billy Crystal and his wife arrived on the scene very quickly and reportedly saw the bodies. Later Sunday night at 9:14 p.m., Nick is arrested. The LAPD released and later deleted these photos of what appears to be the 32-year-old being taken into custody. He is seen handcuffed about 15 miles from his parents' Brentwood home in downtown LA near USC. As for Nick's struggles with addiction, this now viral resurfaced clip gives us a little insight into how his famous parents tried to help him.
Well, I think I'm lucky in the sense that I have parents that care about me.
Nick, who has said he went to rehab 17 times, bonded with his dad while they worked together on the movie Being Charlie, which was loosely based on Nick's.
Now, whether, depending on the source, I showed you on here. Hold on. They said 18 times in one. Another time they said he checked into rehab at 15 and then 17 times after. Now this source says 17. So it was 17 or 18 times in rehab. We don't exactly know. They keep printing different things.
Troubled life.
Okay, you know what? Here's how it's going to go. You can either head back to treatment or live on the streets. It's your choice.
That's an easy one.
Congratulations. How was it working with your son?
Oh, good, good.
When I would go out and do,
I know,
things like drugs and stuff like that, I'd feel a tremendous amount of guilt. But some people don't have parents that are, have any interest in them.
And E.T. spoke exclusively with Netta Soderquist, a close friend and longtime fitness trainer to Michele and Romy.
I think the world collectively knows Rob Reiner. We don't know as much about Michele Singer Reiner.
She was just a really kind person. I'll tell you funny things like Rob, he didn't really know how to do much around the house. So Michele would even change the light bulb. They were inseparable. They spent most of their time with their children. Everything they did was first them. And then obviously it was all about humanity. I was always mad at her for not taking, time for herself. Honestly, the kids were their priority.
I know. He looks so different in all of his videos. All right, here we go. We're going to look into the mind of this guy, Nick Reiner, a disturbing video from 2016 appearing to belong to Nick, resurfaced in which appears to be he's mimicking Coca-Cola use and making threats to kill a dog. All right, that just came up today, and People sent it to me and I was like, yes, I was going to show this to you anyway. All right.
I usually only do one at a time.
I don't need it that loud.
And I don't even care if anyone calls me a Sally because I'm a snail and I'm never gonna fail. And you know what? You're gonna have to bail me out of jail.
He thinks he's a rapper, guys. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're gonna have to bail me out of jail. I'm a snail. Love you too.
Where'd you get this weed?
Say and spell your first and last name for me.
I ain't gonna tell you my first and last name. Most people know me as Did David.
We're wondering
You
what.
know how long this interview is gonna be?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna.
This is producer Katya. So this book, this is one of my favorite reads when I was sitting on Body Campfire.
Why does he sound like he has an accent?
And it's all rock and roll based. Sorry, I'm not into this rap thing. You know.
But that hurts my feelings, but like I love rock and roll as well, so I'm glad we can.
Okay, good. See you in Japan.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
I can't wait for Japan.
Why did you, when you were sitting by the campfire, why did you invite all those young kids to come sit by the fire and have you read to them about it? I mean, I thought that was kind of odd.
That is totally falsified.
What's that accent, guys?
Falsified.
Donald Trump. No.
He said, fuck Donald Trump. All right, now I can see the response from Donald Trump. Just kidding. This guy, what is that? He's a poser. He's a poser. He's a freaking poser, man. He's a spoiled, entitled poser. What is he even saying? That's not, is he acting like a, what?
He's my man. He's my man.
He's my man. He's my man. Yep. Not weird at all. It was supposed to be funny. It was supposed to be his comedic little clip. Not funny. He's not funny. He's weird. He's awkward. Yeah. Waldo.
No introduction. Jenny from the cul-de-sac, of course. She has a boyfriend now who's in the military. He's actually dead. She's not right. She moved to Patagonia. What was it?
Pasadena.
I guess it could have been pretty awkward when PETA approached you about joining their team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go kill that dog.
He said, I'm gonna go kill that effing dog.
Why do you like Snapple so much?
Mainly because when I'm done drinking it, I can
Not at all.
go in my room and squirt lotion in it and then use it to stick my penis in. Sometimes I just come out to gather my my sick thoughts. They know the David who go on stage, who has his ways about him, but you know they really want to know what's inside because I like spat on his windshield.
Think we would all just be blown away if you could kind of walk us down Freestyle Alley.
See mine,
There's one of your fans now.
I doubt he has fans,
That's
bro.
Barbara. She's blind, so that's why she didn't see the wave. The geniuses, the brilliant ones, the people. I'm referring to myself if you're curious.
You know,
He's
we're
calling
close
himself
to
a
making
genius.
a deal that will, of course, make him the worldwide star that he deserves to be.
50 million on the line, and they were like practically just jacking me off the whole time.
Going to a party.
Yep. Yeah, at least I like the beat, but yes. We're almost done, guys. He's a loser, and he couldn't do anything else. So there you go, wannabe loser, fucking poser.
Yo, I feel like I'm like 100 different people.
You feel really? I do.
Feels like 100 people right now, different people. That's what he said.
I got like 100 personality disorder.
Okay.
He got 100 personality.
Dude, I was just about to. My mouth is getting a little parched because of how much I'm talking to y'all. But this.
Anyway, we really haven't really delved into anything deep, so.
We haven't delved into anything, sir. What the hell? All right, guys. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I don't understand. What did he think would gain from doing this? He could have done. Now, listen, he's 32 years old. He's had mental health issues probably since the beginning of time, right? 15, he goes into a bender. His dad decides to do a movie. That was 10 years ago almost. And, he didn't become anything that he wanted, and I feel like he's entitled. He definitely has mental health issues. He absolutely snapped, but I don't think that he should be getting off on any kind of insanity, guilty by insanity at all. We're going to see what happens. And yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? If that's a worst case, worst thing, think about the things that like you've gone through. Think about the things that like the cases we handled yesterday, or the Madeline Soto, Sebastian Rogers, those things. Think about those struggles and then look at his struggle. He had everything in life. Oh, poor me. I can't live up to my daddy's expectations. I don't feel bad. Even Romy was a struggling actress trying to find her way into the film industry. It's not easy. It's not easy. And she probably wouldn't have had that without her father and the influences. No lessons learned, right? He didn't learn shit. It was handed to him. He did those and anything that he wanted. And, well, that's what happened. He drove. I'm sure he did drive. He probably just didn't have a license or whatever. All right. It was handed to him. Just me. What's up? All right, guys, we've been here for almost 2 hours. I put together what I could for today's episode. We have a lot to still go through, so I'll probably keep on covering this as the things come out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just because you're famous doesn't mean, just because your father is famous doesn't mean you will too. But we have our own problems. We all have our own problems, and we don't sit there and blame it on our parents at 32 years old. Get a life, buddy. Make your own success and stop riding their coattails. That's what I got to say about that. The fight was at the party, probably because he was going around embarrassing his parents. He was asking all the people if they're famous, and he was just being a freaking weirdo. So his dad and mom were probably embarrassed and like, dude, what are you doing? That's what I imagine. All right. Loser. Carly's in the house. What? What's up, Carly? I hope you're doing good. Dale, thank you. We love ya, you say. I appreciate that. Vampire Foxy, self-entitled. Makes me wonder if I ever had to work for anything. Probably not, Wyatt. I can't imagine. All right. Well, in the meantime, guys, we want to say a prayer for those family members. Money or not, money doesn't buy you shit except a car, a house, food, whatever. That's what it buys, but it doesn't buy internal happiness ever. Trust me. All right. So, hey, that doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, he's going to be locked up forever. And where he lands is going to depend on how Alan Jackson does. All right, guys, tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow we'll do some kind of giveaway because next week is Christmas. Okay. So yeah, you missed it, Carly. You missed it. It's almost 6:00 here. I've been here for 2 hours and you missed it. I got a wooden spoon instead of a silver spoon. Buys health insurance. It sure does. I'm disappointed in AJ. Who's AJ? Who? Oh, Alan Jackson. Well, I don't know why you're disappointed, Darlene. He does that. He defends people that have done something. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna be back here tomorrow. You're very welcome. I appreciate y'all. Carly, we did have some nasty trolls tonight, but luckily your girl Jay has some thick skin, and I don't care. Okay, come on back. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm in California, 6 p.m. Central Time, and 7 p.m. Eastern. Love you guys, and it's very good to see you. Thank you guys for the support. I'm going to go dye my hair right now. Mwah. Love ya. See you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, wait, Kim, before I go. Kim Avenziano, welcome to the Crime Crew. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. Pierced Angel, good to see you. Wolfpack, always a pleasure. Frosty After Dark, love you all. Good night. Bye.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?